Everyone, it's Nadia from liadiadesigns and I'm back with another video. Today we are going to be creating with these little cactus guys, and they are little acrylic silhouette blanks. As you can see here, they are black acrylic. They do have a protective paper on them, which normally is on the front and back, but I've already removed the back. As you can see here, this one here had a little bit of a issue so with the paper was already missing. But in any case, we are going to be using UV resin today to fill these, and I'm going to be using Let's Resin's UV resin. And at the beginning of the video, you saw that I was assembling their new light. It's actually a dual light, as you can see here. So it actually has a light that shines from the bottom and the top, and it has a tray in the middle. It's really cool. I'm so excited to use it. So we'll be doing that, and it does have longer time settings on it as well. We'll look at that a little bit later, but it has a 2, 3, and 5 minute. For color, I'm going to be using Let's Resin's resin dye in various colors. This is their emerald green. As you can see, I have a whole tray here, a whole bunch of them. And I'm also going to be using Let's Resin's resin tape. So it's a whole Let's Resin video. But anyways, this is their resin tape. So I'm just going to cut a piece off and we're going to stick it to the back. So this is why I removed the paper from the back, so that we could stick this resin tape directly to the black acrylic and make sure we get a really good seal. So you can see here, I'm pressing kind of all the edges really well to make sure that the tape is adhered properly. I know there are other options. I haven't had any problems with this one so far. So now we have our little cups and we're just going to be making our colors. I started out with 5 here, but I think I ended up adding about 3 or 4 more as we went along. So these are the colors I have. So you can see I already have added a few more. But yeah, we have 2 greens. I wanted to try to do kind of a gradient for the greens. So we'll see how that turns out. So as you can see here, I am kind of painting the UV resin. And just so you guys know, I don't normally use UV resin. So this is kind of new to me too. So if you guys have any tips and tricks on how to, master UV resin, it would be greatly appreciated. So you can leave those in the comments. So I kind of started out brushing into the corners, trying to make sure there was no bubbles and things like that. And I was finding that I wasn't really sure if it was working. So I ended up just starting to drop, like kind of load the brush and then kind of drop the resin, the UV resin into each spot. And I found then it would kind of spread on its own, and it seemed to do a better job of filling into the corners and things like that. So I don't know if that's a technique that UV resin artists normally do, but I was finding it seemed to work better here. Again, if you guys are using UV resin a lot and you have little bits of advice for me, because I did find, even with how careful I was trying to be here with making sure I didn't get any bubbles, there were some. I'm not against having some little tiny micro bubbles, because I think it doesn't really affect the overall look of the piece. And I've actually had some people say that since I'm doing stained glass style pieces, the little bubbles actually kind of reminiscent of old glass, because older styles of glass, and even I guess modern glass, sometimes has little bubbles in it. So it's not the end of the world for me to have little bubbles, but any of the larger bubbles or how they collect, it seems like UV resin sometimes tries to collect bubbles in corners and edges. Those are the ones I'm more concerned about. I'm really trying hard here to make sure that I'm not getting any, but I still find I do get them sometimes. So feel free in the comments, let me know. So here you can see I'm just going ahead and dropping in the colors and all the areas. And again, I've kind of resorted to not brushing them at all, but this one's turned out really cute. Like, look how it looks. I love how the colors are coming together here. So we'll kind of speed through the next few as I talk you through them really quick, and we can discuss some things here. So you can see that I'm adding the 2 different kinds of greens. I think I could have gone darker with this second green, and then it might have had a little bit more contrast. I don't know. I think these ones blended a little bit too much. So it still looks cute, but it doesn't have the kind of gradient effect I was going for. So I did end up adding a little bit of brown in there for the little bit of soil that's going to be in those little pots. And I really like these little decorative pots that I made. It just gives a little bit of an extra design to the whole piece. Now, these little tiny flowers on the cactuses. So one thing I did find as well is if I was kind of adding the resin to the corner, like of let's say the flower or something like that, then allowing it to kind of drop itself or find its way into the kind of the cavity to fill. I found that was easier than just trying to, in the really tiny spots, than to just try to perfectly fill the hole, because then bubbles would be captured underneath. I don't know if that makes sense, but what I was doing is I was kind of putting the resin to the edge and then allowing it to kind of fall in to the area. I found that was working pretty well, I think. So again, if you guys have better tips, I'm actually thinking maybe using like a little syringe tip might be the answer here for these really tiny spaces. But then I'm also wondering if maybe I should be fixing these designs or changing the designs so that we eliminate some of these really tiny spots. But you guys can let me know in the comments what you think. These are the mini versions of these cacti, sorry. But again, even with some of even the fact that areas can be small, but some of them are really tiny. So I think I'm gonna have to look at that, especially for the flowers that are on these little cacti here. But anyways, we're also going to come back to this specific design because something happened here that we need to talk about. We'll talk about it a little bit later in the video. And then this is just before my battery died on my phone, on my camera. So you'll see this is going to cut out. And then we're going to go straight to putting them into the Let's Resin double UV light. And I was so excited to use this because when I've tried using the light I had previously, I actually had to press the light, a few times for it to start to cure the resin. And then I'd have to flip these little designs so that it would do the other side. Now with this double light, it does both at the same time. And it was only 5 minutes to do the whole thing. And I only had to press one button to do that, which was really cool. So now they're done and I'm ready to take them out. And I'm just going to put them on a white card here so that you guys can see the colors a little better. I might look at using my light table next time so you guys can see how the colors reflect through a little better. But so anyways, you can see, you get a pretty good idea of how these are looking here. And I will get a video later that's going to show it with the outdoor light. It's nighttime now, so I can't do that. But so here all they are with just straight out of the UV light. And now we need to take off that brown protective paper. So this is where we need to have a discussion because I like having the brown paper on there while I'm doing this because I think it protects the acrylic and gives you a nice finished look. But on this piece here, I learned that you can't flood those sections. See how they're kind of overflowing? That traps the paper in place. And now I had to basically carve it off. So first tip from this video is, well, probably not the first one, but a tip from this video is don't flood your areas. Or if you do, I think we should be wiping down before we put them in the UV light. But overall, I think these did turn out really cute. And again, I'm going to see them in the light in the morning to show you guys so that you can see them. But before we go from this video, I also want to show you the larger size. So these actually would be considered the regular size, the ones that are the larger ones here. And the little ones that I just resined are the minis that are used for coasters and things like that. These larger ones range in size up to about almost 5 inches. And there's also the option for those larger ones to have the clear backers. We're going to talk about this more in another video, but now I have added these clear backer options to these pieces, so you don't have to set them in resin or even use UV resin. You can actually just use paint or glass paint or acrylic paint or stones or crystals or glitter or anything you want. And the clear backers come with a little loop on the back there so that you can use them to hang as sun catchers, use them as little tags, anything you like. So anyways, guys, there's a lot going on in this video. I hope that you like how these turned out and the kind of the tutorial of how to use UV resin with these pieces. And I definitely recommend Let's Resin's double UV light. it just made this so much easier in terms of how quickly it was able to cure this UV resin on both sides. No flipping, no anything, and it was 5 minutes and it was done. So if you're looking to do things like this, I definitely recommend that. So anyways, guys, if you're looking for the silhouettes, the link is going to be in the description under this video. And if you want to become a member and be part of my member live streams, I have my Patreon, so you can definitely join there as well. I look forward to hearing from you guys about what you think about these and what you think you'd like to create with them. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.